The Heart of It.
Roy West kicking in towards the centre. Roy's back.
A distinctly Tasmanian conversation.
I can feel what it will be like when Tassie plays his first game, and I just...
Lynch gathers, he's got loose men everywhere, but he decides to have a pump shot, and it's an absolute ripper! 200 goals for Peter Hudson. What a fantastic effort.
How did he do that? Mihocek finishes off in style.
Up towards half forward, Stewart flying over the top. Oh, pulled in a beautiful mark.
Well done from Scott. After all, he's got the first goal. Has it gone?
Nichols has had the big ruck with it. Oh! Close roll!
Alistair Nicholson here. Thanks for joining me on The Heart of It. My guest today has an amazing football story to tell. One of hard work, determination and a never-say-die attitude. Brody Mihocek was an All-Australian at underage level and once touted as a potential top 25 draft pick. But for reasons he still can't quite understand, it wasn't until he was 25 that he finally got the chance to play AFL football. The Burnie product had just about given up on his dream, resigned to playing VFL football with Port Melbourne and driving forklifts in a Melbourne warehouse. But that's when Collingwood finally took a punt, changing his trajectory and theirs. Mihocek would make an immediate impact at AFL level, kicking 4 goals on debut and playing in a grand final in his first season. 5 times he would win the Magpies' leading goalkicker award, and in 2023 he kicked 47 goals in a premiership-winning season. I caught up with Brodie as he was readying for a new chapter, having made the decision to continue his career with Melbourne. This is Brody Mihocek's highly unique football story.
Already has one under his belt tonight. Every team needs a Brody Mihocek if they're lucky enough to have him.
Brody Mihocek, thanks for stopping by for a chat. Really appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's been a busy off-season for you, hasn't it? How you're settling into life and the knowledge that the Collingwood chapter, which has been a very successful one for you, is over and the Melbourne one's beginning.
Yeah, it's pretty full on. Obviously, you lose in a prelim and you sort of go through the grand final week just trying to stay away from watching the other two teams go about it. And then once that finished, it all got pretty real for me. Exit meetings, talks with managers, the Ds, the Pies, and the weeks after the footy season ended was pretty full on, and I knew I had to make a big decision. But that weight that was off my shoulders when I made that decision was enormous, and it's really exciting and sad that I had to leave the Pies, which I've spent the last 8 years with, and it's been an awesome ride, but something just really excites me about getting a new opportunity at 32 to prove again why I'm in the AFL, and to prove myself that I can still keep doing this at a high level, and it's a really good thing.
Yeah, opportunity, the word you use there, and proving yourself, it's sort of been two of the key themes of your career, I suppose, in lots of ways. Let's go back to northwest Tasmania. So you're the youngest of 3 boys in the household.
Yeah.
Dad's Jack, played at Essendon back in the 70s. Mum's Jan. What was family life like for the Mihoceks?
It was, as you could imagine, just all sport for us 3 boys. Dad played footy and you always knew that, but Mum and Dad always encouraged us to do as much as we can. So northwest of Tassie, all your friends would do the exact same sport as you. So basketball, cricket, soccer, footy, bit of golf here and there, tennis, like just anything you could think of we tried. And it's sort of, we're always good at everything, but footy took over, a bit older, but just love getting out and about with my brothers and trying new things, being a bit reckless as young boys are, and it's a fun place to grow up, Tassie.
Yeah, Northwest Coast Tassie, being there for myself, I remember the freedoms and getting outside and probably a lot of the time your parents didn't really know where you were. I was one of 3 boys in the family as well. Is that similar to your experience? You're often come back at the end of the day and mum and dad wouldn't necessarily know some of the mischief you'd created along the way?
Yeah, it's easy to do that. You're within a 10-minute walk from most parts of Burnie, and you'd have next door neighbours you'd get out and about with, and then friends not far away. So yeah, growing up we're always out riding the bikes and playing hockey in the cul-de-sacs in Burnie, and some of my fondest memories are playing random games with neighbours and friends around Burnie.
So there was always someone in the neighbourhood you could knock on the door and get a game or some sort of sporting contest going, was there?
Yeah, definitely. Would be easy now to flick a message through to someone, but you'd honestly just knock on their door and see if they were there, and everyone would be willing to do something. So and being so close with my brothers, all their friends within a 5-year age group, we all knew each other, and we all went out and had fun.
Yeah, nice. So how influential was your dad early on, obviously having played VFL football with you boys when it came to your footy early on?
Yeah, he definitely nudged us in the right direction. I mean, my brothers Tyson and Zach were good footballers as well, and I sort of looked up to them and to go through my journey. And I think Tyson was, he would probably say he was close to getting there, but he was a good footballer. And then Zach had a lot of injuries, so he never really got the chance. And then I was so lucky with my body that I didn't have many injuries and got through. But Dad he was always there, but he never got too into it and controlled it. He sort of let us run our own show as well, and that sort of helped me with being being pretty independent with how I was to train and live and move away from home. And he never really pushed anything too hard on us, but he's definitely loving the journey now. Him at the Pies was pretty good to see. He'd get involved whenever he could and let everyone know he was about. So it's good for them. But growing up, he just let us do our own thing as well.
So the Mihocek name, what are the origins? What's the family history?
It's Croatian. So Dad moved from Yugoslavia. I'm getting this right, but Yugoslavia when Dad was 8. So. I think there's different ways to pronounce it, but I think my dad went with Mihocek, and it's a very unusual name, so you wouldn't get many, if any, here in Australia. So I get a few random messages from Mihoceks on the other side of the world, and possibly a relation to the name. So it's a unique name, and that's the origin.
Were they looking for a better life? What's your understanding of the decision?
I think so, yeah. Just
obviously under the
Soviets
wasn't a lot of
conflict
fun.
over there. They wanted a new life and hopped on a boat and got over here. And it was more opportunity, I'd say, as well, yeah.
The move to Tassie then, how did your family end up in Tassie?
Just Dad playing football. I think he was doing a lot of fly in, fly out for Kui, and then when just ended up moving there full time, and grew up there, and we're all out of Tassie. My brother Zach's actually moved back, but it was just us in Tassie. So no relatives or anything. So they were always here in Melbourne.
Yeah. Kui had some seriously strong teams back in the day when I reckon your dad was playing for them. And I noted that Zach won a premiership with Queenstown, not this season, the season before, didn't he? Kick 5 in the grand final.
He did, yeah. He's still going. He's got his body right. I mean, he still has a few niggles here and there, but actually after the Pies win against Adelaide, they were in another grand final the week after, or actually a couple days after. So when I finished the Adelaide game, I hopped on a plane and went and watched him, but unfortunately lost to South Burnie. But it was, and Tyson actually played in that game as well. So both Zach and Tyson were having a run around, so it was good to get back there and see them do their thing. But
so both were playing for the Crows this year?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that was a good thing to see, and I haven't watched Tyson or Zach play in a long time. So, I was sitting front row or just off the boundary as you can in Tassie footy, and it was a beautiful day, and unfortunately they lost though.
Having watched you play and the way you go about it, it doesn't surprise me at all that a Mihocek would find some appeal in going and playing for a team that played on gravel just quietly. Tell me a bit about your mum, Jan, then. What was she like growing up?
She was good. Looked after us, took us everywhere. She was a good, sporty person herself. So, early days for me, she was playing nightly netball in Burnie and still going. I don't know at what age, but even when I moved out of Tassie, she still was having a run around playing netball in her 50s. So she just loved netball, and most nights, many nights throughout the week would be down at the netball courts running around while she's doing her thing on the courts. So but she was just looked after us three boys and took us everywhere, and she did a lot for all us three.
You boys would have left the family with a pretty healthy food bill weekly, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that going now with a young one now, and I realise how much he costs, and he's only one. So with three of us, we ate everything, and groceries were cheaper back then, so it probably would have been triple now. But us boys did eat a lot, and I was the biggest out of us three. So, but even when we go now to our aunties and grandmas, the spread that they put on as European background is massive. So we would have been even larger if we lived in Melbourne. So it was probably a good thing we're in Tassie.
What's it like for you being a dad? Little Arthur's on the scene, and you and Polly obviously very proud parents.
Yeah, it's interesting. It was definitely tough. Had him in the off season last year, so it was nice to get that time with him early on, and then sort of once footy ramped up, you're away a lot and missed out on a bit, but it's definitely tough, and no one ever really tells you how to approach it or do things. So it's a learning curve, and I felt like I actually coped all right this year with everything that was going on with possibly getting traded and being a dad. So it affects footy at times, but to get home at the end of the day, it's an awesome feeling to have them there and sort of separate footy a lot more than I have previously. So he's one now and he's running around. So I'm sure next year's just going to be as chaotic, but hopefully he just sleeps more, and that's the main thing, I think.
Are there any lessons you sort of learned through your childhood, the way your parents went about it, that you think you'll sort of employ in your own parenting? I realise now, like, even when I'm on my phone and not engaging with Arthur, it's like you sort of pull yourself up a bit, like, to make sure you do your best at keeping the phone away and playing with them and take them outside. I mean, the weather's miserable sometimes in Melbourne, but we've got a nice backyard where he can run around, and now that he's starting to walk, I think we'll utilise that a lot. A lot of good parks around just to get out. I mean, we chuck the TV on for him and he doesn't even look at it. He's into the toys. So just spend as much time and with him as I can, and that was important to me for deciding on what I wanted for footy, if it was a 1 year or 2 year. And the 2 year really stood out. And with
with a chance of a third year as well. So the more time I can spend with Arthur and Polly is better than anything else, really.
Yeah, super. So for you, West Park Oval, Burnie, was that like another backyard in a way? I imagine you boys spent a lot of time down there.
Yeah, it was a main bit, but a lot of footy was played at Marist, and like, I mean, even if I go back now, I still run on the Marist Oval just because it brings back good memories and is familiar. West Park, you couldn't really run on it most days because it was a bog heap. But yeah, I'd just watching Zach and Tyson play with the Dockers before, and then whilst I was going through school footy, yeah, it's definitely a tricky place to play, but it's also pretty picturesque down there, and I think the groundskeeper's got it in good nick now. I think cricket season they get it pretty nice for them, but I just remember a lot of muddy games there, and middle of winter you'd be freezing, so yeah, it was a fun place to play.
Just thinking of who came out of Marist around the same time as you, so it's sort of Mav Weller, Luke Russell, Eli Templeton maybe around that time, and then Robbie Fox obviously as well.
Yeah.
Well, the patriarch of football at Marist, from my memory, was Richard Lakeland, who was Dickie was a real coastal football identity, wasn't he? Do you remember him being around the place?
Yeah, I do. He was, always around, and even my old careers coach, Tim Horniblow, always...
I was taught by the blower.
Yeah, he's always sending me emails, and he's a big pies man. So, yeah, always just like little interactions with old teachers, and there's a few still going. So, yeah, it's not that long ago since I really out of school and yourself, but they just hang around, and they're part of the walls there, and they also are in the footy memories growing up.
Yeah, for sure. So when did you enter the Tassie elite talent pathway then? So you're playing footy for the Burnie Dockers.
Yeah.
When do you start to go through I suppose it was the Mariners program then?
Yeah, stayed under 16s. Just did that. I remember it was out at Blacktown in Sydney. Just like, no, I wasn't anything special. I was just a bit taller, which helped. But sort of started to really enjoy my football there, and sort of show something to where I was like, maybe I can do this. Still figuring out what was good for my body. I had a lot of hip issues, groin issues. But doing the under 16s, I had one really good game, and there was like an add-on to the AIS. Like, there was the initial AIS 30 and then there was an add-on, and I remember doing it with Ben Brown after that under 16s year, and Jimmy Webster as well. But that was enough for me to go, like, obviously people are looking at me, so I really got to stick at this and give it a go. And I was injured most of my 17 year, under 17s, but still got invited to that thing again. And then when I was in under 18s, that's when I started to play good footy and play different roles in the ruck, forward, back, and yeah, had a successful 18s carnival, and then thought it was going to happen, and then it doesn't. But I did all that I could to put myself out there footy wise. I still don't know why clubs didn't pick me up. I heard that it was interviewing techniques or speed, few like other things. I honestly can't tell you, and I'd love to know, but yeah, it didn't happen, and it was a kick in the gut, but it all worked out in the end.
My word, it worked out in the end, but not without an enormous amount of hard work and sacrifice on your own part as well, because in your draft year, I reckon at one point you were sort of ranked within the top 25 chances to be picked up. Were you an All-Australian in your under 18 year?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that how did you reconcile that in your mind? That must have been extremely challenging initially when you were young and you'd never experienced that.
Yeah.
I guess that feeling of rejection before.
So, yeah, made the under-18 All Australian. I look at the team now and there's like some really good names in there. And it was John McKenzie and myself that out of that team didn't get picked up. And, I saw top 20 pick a few times. And it was weird to think that, but you obviously think it's a really good chance of happening, and your managers are talking to you going like, yeah, be ready. So I just remember watching the draft on TV downstairs away from mum and dad upstairs, and it didn't happen. And they've obviously come down and cuddled you and said like they're stupid for not picking you up. Let's wait for the rookie draft. And even then, it's managers tell you that it's definitely going to happen. And I can't recall if any clubs talked to me during that period, but it was all online, so you just watch the names pop up instead of on TV, and it didn't happen then. And it's basically had to go live. I was out of school and didn't have a job. Didn't have anything.
You'd put all your sort of eggs in that basket naturally, I suppose, did you?
Yeah, it was hard not to. I mean, schooling I wasn't too good at. And then, I just knew footy was a good option. I did a carpentry course, so there was always that to fall back on. But still, I just wanted to be a footballer. And then even manager rings me a week after the rookie draft. He says, you can't stay in Tassie, you got to leave, go play VFL. I was basically just told him I'm choosing to stay at the Dockers. I can't leave. I've got to go get a job, earn money, get a car, and then the next year I'll come. And he said that wasn't the right call, and it's the last time I heard from that manager.
Wow.
And then...
Who was that?
Robbie D'Orazio, I'll say his name. And like he's pretty high up now, and he basically said I needed to leave, and he was with a different management group there. But he didn't hear from him again, and then it was purely just me. But even staying, like I loved staying. I worked full time as a labourer and plumber, and earned money, played for the Dockers. We won the premiership, and I was like, for staying a year in Tassie after school, it was all I could have hoped for. But I knew I wasn't going to be at the Dockers long term. I was like, as soon as I finished that year, had my car, got on the boat, moved over here, and sought out to play VFL.
Yeah, so you come over here, and did you get to Werribee in the first year, or did you play some local footy first? No,
it was local footy. So I had Werribee and Essendon VFL talking to me, and I was living with my auntie in Keilor. So Essendon was set out of Windy Hill. Obviously had dad who played for Essendon, so I was a fan of them. So I sort of leaned more towards them, even though Werribee was amazing with the approach, and Ben Brown was going there as well, so there was a bit of connection there. Scott West was the coach, who was good as well. But just decided to go down the Essendon VFL, new team, first year. Funnily enough, Hayden Skipworth was the coach then, and then he was at the Pies. So just trained there, had a real bad ankle injury in the pre-season there. I remember, I think it was a syndesmosis pretty much out at their new training facilities in Essendon, and then had a fair bit out and didn't get in the initial squad for the Essendon VFL, but Hayden Skipworth said, I'll keep training, like it'll be good for you. And then just played at Maribyrnong Park on Saturdays, Monday to Wednesday was Essendon VFL, with Thursday night being Marby, and that's how I did that year, which was a fun year as well, getting to play local Essendon District Football League and also having the professionalism of the VFL. And then decided not to go with Essendon. I was just like, I even just felt like even if I tried my hardest, I felt like I was still on the outer of that. And then I went back to Werribee, who was still keen, and they had a new coach in John Lamont there, so that sort of was an exciting time for the Werribee Tigers, and had a good couple of years there, and loved to have stayed there as well, but they were going fully aligned with North Melbourne, which I thought opportunity wasn't going to be there for me, even if I was playing really good footy. So that was when Port Melbourne come calling, and I worked in Port Melbourne at the time, and it was a match made in heaven going there.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary Ayres is the coach.
Yeah.
You win the best and fairest in 2016, then a premiership the following year, is that right?
Yeah, it was. It just all lined up, and being close to where I was working, I didn't have to go out to Werribee on long drives, and I could be home a lot more. And just the ease of basically down the road to train, and Ayresy was awesome with me and what my role was, and it seemed like a real standalone club, just good club feel, and had a good spot in the back line there. And first year won the BNF, which I really forget about, like that first year at Port, because the next year was so successful as well. And I've finished top fives in BNFs before, but never would have thought I'd win one. And then that's when AFL clubs sort of started talking to you. I went for an interview with GWS and Collingwood. And then sort of the hopes got high again. And then it's like, maybe they'll think about me now. And then it didn't happen. And I was like, well, Port Melbourne's going to be my team. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to enjoy football. I could see myself being there for a long time. And then, that sort of just the AFL side of it just went away, really. I was working, playing VFL, and then I had a bad knee injury, tore my medial ligament early on in the season. Mason Cox actually fell on it in a game against the Pies, and I was out for 8 weeks there, and I didn't even think like footy AFL was a chance, because I was out for so long, and then got back second half of the year and played the last 3 or 4 games, and then the final series, and we won, and it was amazing. And then didn't know, like I had a new manager at the time, and he's sort of saying, they're trying to put my name out there as much as they can, but it was a lot harder then. And then, week before the rookie draft, Pies, who I hadn't heard from since the previous year, decided to go, if we were to pick you, would you leave your job and do that? Because the rookie contracts weren't as much as if you had a really good job. And I just said, I'm ready, do it. And then the lunchtime before the actual draft night, they said, you're going to be a Pie. And I was the mate who I was working with, massive Pies fan. He's wondering why I was so sheepish and a bit weird in the afternoon. And I was just like, I just watched the rookie draft and I hope you enjoy it. And then it all went on from there. And the next day, on the Tuesday, I was in at the Pies, starting a new life there.
So when you first go to Melbourne, your AFL dream in your mind is still very much alive. You obviously have injuries, and obviously Essendon didn't work out. Then you play good footy at Werribee, and you're still holding that hope of playing AFL. But it's literally when you get to the point where you think, Port Melbourne's, that's about as high as I'm going to be able to play. This opportunity opens up. But even then, when Collingwood told you, having been overlooked so many times, Was there even the tiniest little seed of doubt in your mind that I'm not believing this until I actually see it?
Yeah, it definitely was. I remember interviewing with Collingwood when I was 18, and Derek Hine was the one that was interviewing me, and he was still there. And obviously, they keep tabs on you, but I just had to wait till I saw my name, and couldn't even trust him. Even on the rookie night, but I think something that kept me going, even though I thought it was a slim chance, was the year before they picked up Henry Shade, and I think Derek Hine or Don Malisi rang me a couple of days after, and they said, look, it was out of you and Henry Shade, who's a Tassie boy as well, and played for the Gold Coast, and they're like, it was a flip of the coin, and they went with him, and I was just like, it's the first bit of feedback I got after a draft where I hadn't got picked up. Someone saying like how close you were. If you want to keep going, like keep doing your thing, and I'm sure something may pop up. And then Henry Shade lasted a year, and then delisted him and got me in. So it was just weird how it all worked, and just little hints here and there that kept me going. But even saying that, like VFL was still an awesome comp then, and I love the training side of things, getting up early before work, getting the work done, doing training of the afternoon, getting home late. Like it just felt normal to me, and I loved it. And I think that's just what ultimately got, like, talking to Port Melbourne guys now, they're like, even when you got to Port Melbourne, they're like, who's this bloke trying to make AFL and putting in? But then they saw the work I was putting in, and then you also, when you do that work, you bring others with you. And Port Melbourne had a lot of blokes, young blokes, that we did early morning gym sessions, got to the club early before training, did extras. So it was sort of, felt like the want for me sort of brought others along, and that's why we were successful. I wasn't the only thing. Like, we did have a really good team, but a few of and that's in the AFL system. Like, I get along with the younger blokes because I want to see them succeed, and you want to bring others along with you and show them what to do. So that's something that excites me about the Ds as well, being an older bloke coming in to share knowledge and what I've gone through and what's needed. And that's something that I want to bring to the Ds and hopefully be a leader in that sense.
Your day job, mate, then, you were driving forklifts and that sort of thing, weren't you? What were you doing during the day when you were playing?
It was logistics work in a warehouse with a timber veneer company. Driving forklifts, packing boxes. It was me and Sam, the other bloke, and it was just us two for, I think it was 4 years. And they were always so good with my footy, and Sam always knew my goal and what I wanted to, even if he believed that I'd make it or not. But they were always sort of letting me, maybe if I was at the gym a bit longer, rock up a bit later to work, or I get an hour for lunch break, I'd go to the ocean to do recovery or go for a run and then come back. And if I was a bit later there, that it wouldn't be a big deal. But that was interesting. Like I remember getting injured, or when I did my knee, I was in a knee brace for 4 weeks with my legs sticking out of the forklift driving it. So OH&S probably wouldn't have appreciated that. But that was coming from Tassie to Melbourne to get a job like that. Even it wasn't a high paying job, but to go along with my footy, it was the best thing I could have done.
It just sort of worked perfectly for you and allowed you to do those other things. So when you do see your name pop up on rookie draft night, end of 2017, having been overlooked so many times, going right back to your All-Australian year at under 18 level in 2011, what's your overriding reaction, and who did you speak to first, and can you remember what they said?
So finished work and it was on at like 5 o'clock, and I actually got stuck in traffic on the Westgate and thought I'd just have to watch it on my phone while driving. And then I lived just in Brooklyn, just outside Melbourne, and got home, flicked on put on the laptop, was watching it, just sat down with Polly, and just saw my name, and I bawled my eyes out. I was like, oh, it's finally here. And it was a weird thing because Eddie Maguire rang you, Bucks rang straight away, getting messages from all the players welcoming to the club, and then you had someone drive in, hand you all the equipment and gear and attire, and then basically had to say to my work that I'm not coming in tomorrow. I'm going into the Pies, and I had a work ute, so obviously Sam, the Mad Pies man, was just do what you want, like no need to show up, whereas the people up in the offices were like, we can't just not have someone work, like you can't just leave a job like that, you got to give 2 weeks notice or whatever. And just remember going in as
Did you drive the work ute in?
Yeah, I had that for a couple months after, so they were actually pretty good with leaving me with the car for a bit. But yeah, just I was in the next day with 18-year-olds who got picked up, Jaden Stevenson, Nathan Murphy, Tyler Brown, and then there was myself and Jack Madgen, the 24-year-olds, and he was a basketballer, and I've just left a job and now I'm in here and I got to prove myself. And a funny story, Max Lynch actually thought I was the new strength and conditioning bloke when I walked in the club because I was a bit older, and it was just I'd initially just thought 1 year deal and it could be all over again, and then I'm back out. So I knew I had to get to work and work hard, but I knew there was a possibility that I'd have to go back to the old life. So just did everything I could, and initially was playing VFL where everyone wants to play AFL from the get-go, and it took me 9 weeks, and being a backman in the all pre-season and the first 7 VFL games, and then it took 1 week to just go, oh, we've got a few injuries, we haven't got many key forwards there, do you want to trial a game against Coburg in the forward line? And I did it for a half, and then Madge broke his jaw, so I went back in the back line. And then the next week against Footscray decided to play me a full game in the forward line, and then the week after that I was in AFL playing as a forward.
How many did you kick against Footscray that day?
I think it was only 2, but we had a good win, and it was a windy day. Like, it wasn't a forwards day, but I just did what I could. And Ben Reid, I think, went down against Saints or something at Marvel, and then basically knew there was no one else and that I was there as a forward, and sort of didn't get my hopes up there as well, just in case it didn't happen. But on the Thursday, found out I was playing, and then Sunday afternoon I was out playing AFL.
And you didn't just play; you played Fremantle, and you kicked 4 at the MCG on debut.
And that was obviously a dream start, and the team was going well. So you're coming into a team that was playing good footy and just needed to play freely and enjoy the moment. And first goal was just a quick snap, and that got the ball rolling, and kicked 3 more after that, and it was just a massive day. Like, family was there and they all loved it. And once I knew I could do it at AFL level, I just knew I belonged, and stayed in there for 15 more games, and we played in a grand final, which was amazing. And even though we lost, it was still one of my favourite memories, just getting to play on that last day. It just set up the rest of my career, knowing that I deserved to be there. And even though it took so long to get there, it doesn't matter. because I'm going to get the most out of it.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you go, I'm sure in your mind you're thinking everything's in slow motion. You're not getting where it's taking forever. And then when you finally break through and get there, I mean, it just comes in this enormous rush. Like, you're kicking 4 on debut. You're playing in a grand final in your first season.
It was all about just staying there as long as possible. Like, I think I may have got offered a 2-year contract after that year, and I was like, perfect, this is what I'm doing for the next 2 years. How good. I'm going to enjoy it and get the most out of it. And it was only recently when you get a bit older and you're going through contracts where it's like you're wondering when the end is, where when you just start, you're just riding the wave and going through. So, just had a lot of successful years with the Pies early on, and it just all seemed too good to be true. And then we had a year where the Pies finished 17th, and it's like it was a doom and gloom year, and it was pretty tough. And then Craig McRae gets in, and then you back up. So, the whole journey is just, I haven't really had too much go wrong. And then, like, this year was probably my hardest, just knowing that it could have been my last year at the Pies, and trying to show up week in, week out. Had a baby in the process, so there's stress at home, and then there's stress at the club going, I need to perform to show my worth again, that I'm worth another 1 or 2 year contract. And then when you start thinking like that, your performance drops off, and then you get little niggling injuries where you're playing through it because you need to show up, and the team was going well to make another grand final. So I'd say only this year has been the blimp on the whole career. And that's why I think a fresh start's going to be a good thing mentally, and just do a different role than what I had at the Pies with helping the young boys. Even though I did it at the Pies, it just wasn't labelled in the leadership group. But I feel like I can add a lot of value to the Demons.
Yeah, the 2023 must be so special when you reflect on it, to win a premiership, especially given your story. But you kick 40, your best year goals wise, 47 in a season is the premiership year. What was that experience like for you, to be a grand final winning player?
Yeah, it's something you chase. Like, as I said, the 2018 was special, even though we didn't win. And the Pies made a few prelims here and there and got close, but there's just something different about the 23 year, losing a prelim in Sydney the year before. Just knew that we had a really good team, and can easily make a grand final and win the whole thing. So 23 was just had the belief all year, and we had a rough patch at the end of the season, which sort of put a bit of doubt in some people's minds, but not ours. We just sort of went with the process, and I was playing good footy and kicking goals, which is the main thing. And just that whole final series we're fighting every second, and that was the motto. It was just what we had to do, and play dirty football and just get the job done. And you beat the D's by 6 points or 5 points or whatever, and then you have the week off and you play GWS and you win by a point there. And it was just, everyone that was there in 2018 just enjoyed a lot more, and the crowds at training were amazing. And even grand final day, I still haven't watched the game back. I'll reflect on the journey to begin with, but even the 2023 season after I'm done. But close again in 25. But good mates with Robbie, and I went and watched both his, and they get pumped. So it's like, even if we won or lost, we still put on a good fight. But I think I'll reflect on it when I'm done a lot more and appreciate it more. And then when you do your reunions, it will be like a proud moment to go actually get there and have Arthur grow up. And like my dad played 13 games and I thought he was the best player ever to play at Essendon, and it was that special. And to be a premiership player at the Pies and to play over 150 games, like that's something for Arthur to grow up with and be proud of. And hopefully there's many more games left in me and many more years at the D's where I can put a stamp on that career there as well and do something that Arthur is once again proud of and Mum and Dad are proud of, and Zach and Tyson. So yeah, it's a exciting prospect, and yeah, I'm very, very proud of the journey so far.
I can imagine, mate, and you so thoroughly deserve to be. You mentioned Robbie Fox there. So Robbie, unfortunately, his AFL career has come to an end at the Sydney Swans, but played 2 really good grand finals as well, Robbie, in those matches that Sydney lost to Geelong and Brisbane. He's now signed with the Tassie Devils, so he's moving his life down there. Have you watched sort of closely the level of excitement around Tassie coming into the AFL? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I see it a lot, and I just was up in Sydney with Robbie talking about it, and he's excited to get there, and he tells me the excitement that's going on down there, with even just getting into the VFL and playing. So in another couple of years, that buzz will get even bigger, and every footy person from Tassie knows what it can be and how good it will be for the state. So when the VFL team rocks up and puts on the Guernsey, it'll be a proud moment for the state. And I know Robbie's very excited to get started. I still think he could have stayed at Sydney and kept playing. He had a bit of an off year with injuries and other things, but he'll be good. And there's a lot of good players wanting to go down there and play for it because it's an exciting opportunity, and there's a chance in 2 years' time that they could be on an AFL list again. And I'm seeing the excitement grow week by week. Pulled out the old Tassie Guernsey at home the other day, and like just to put that on and see the colours again, like it's pretty special, and I know the state's going to love it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful jumper, isn't it? And it's a powerful jumper. I think something that all Tasmanians can identify with, and you've pulled it on at underage level, so it's a pretty special thing, isn't it? I always thought with the Devils, one of the greatest examples of why Tasmania needed a team was the story of Ian Callan and how he was an All-Australian at under-18 level and could not have done any more, won a Liston trophy, went to South Australia and dominated to finally get his AFL chance. But you fit into that bracket as well. Do you feel like had Tassie had an AFL team when you were a young player coming through, that maybe that somebody would have taken a punt on you a little bit earlier?
I think there's a good chance. I mean, no one really looked at Tassie footballers as much as they did over here or Western Australia or New South Wales, and just to have that now, there's a lot more eyes on you. So, as I said, my manager wanted me to get out of Tassie and play VFL because there may not be an opportunity and not many people look at you. So a lot more eyes are going to be on young talent there. And I remember growing up, like Tyson used to play for the Tassie Devils when they were there, and then sort of when I got to 18, they left, and then it was Tassie Mariners, and then after I was done with that, a few years later, it turned to the Allies or whatever it was, and now it's sort of back to the State League again, and then the VFL team. So it's definitely coming back, and it's exciting and should be exciting for young footballers in Tassie, knowing that there's that option now that was never really there in the past. So, I think I think there's a lot of talent in Tassie. It's just got to be showcased, which now it can.
Yeah, brilliant. 2 quick ones as we wrap up. You've been really generous with your time. So when you think back on your Tasmanian childhood and everything that you experienced in Tasmania that helped shape who you are now, the Brody Mihocek you became, the premiership winner at Collingwood and now a father, what do you think are the key things that Tassie gave you?
I think growing up, there's a lot of people in Tassie that don't grow up with much, and I grew up with what I needed, but it's a real humble state, I reckon. It's everyone always used to think like the mainland was a bit stuck up or something like that, the way to put it. And it was like they've always had it good, and Tassie sort of just was always had to work hard for things. So basically that's what I learnt growing up, is that nothing's really given to you unless you put in the time and work hard. And sort of trying to get into the AFL system, that's what it was. And you get comfortable when you're in the AFL system that you lose that part of yourself. So that's sort of something that will be good for me to get back, going to a new club and meeting people and proving myself again, and honestly just being myself, and just try anything really, like growing up in Tassie, playing different sports and giving everything a go. So just being humble and giving things a crack, and I know if you do, it generally works out well. So basically that was my childhood, and something that I still do now.
Well said. And one last one. So you, Arthur and Polly are packing up and you're going on a holiday back to Tasmania. You've got your pick of the island, experience-wise or destination-wise. Where is your must-go-to, or if you were recommending a trip to Tassie for others?
Some people do ask me that. Growing up, I didn't explore much because I was just isolated to the northwest coast, but we had a really nice trip in 2013 on the east coast, so I couldn't recommend that highly enough for people going down there. But best thing you can do is get a car wherever possible and just drive anywhere. Any road will take you somewhere interesting. So you can drive 5 hours in Tassie and see a lot of things, where I just drove to Canberra and you drive 5 hours and you don't really see much unless you veer off. But whereas Tassie, you're driving through a lot of nice towns and you can do coastal drives. But obviously the weather there can be cold, but it's beautiful as well. So can't go past the east coast, and the food's always pretty good there too.
Brodie Mihocek, congratulations. You have one of the more amazing stories in football. One chapter has come to a close at Collingwood. Very excited to see what the next chapter holds at Melbourne. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Brodie Mihocek. His opportunity to play AFL football may have come much later than he had hoped, but he certainly made up for lost time. As Melbourne looks to re-emerge as a premiership force again, Mihocek will have a key role to play, helping the young players develop and making an impact, as he always does, in the forward line. Great to have your company on the Heart of It. For more episodes with Tasmanians who've got a great footy story to tell, make sure to subscribe and download the podcast. Catch you next time.